Hey guys, Loco here with my favorite mid laner. Hi, Froggen.
What's wrong?
Hi.
Hello.
Good job on the game today. You guys had a really rough, I wouldn't say really rough, but a really important game versus FlyQuest.
Yeah, it was definitely more important than rough.
Sorry for saying rough, but how do you look at FlyQuest right now? Because even though you beat them in the last match of regular season, you still have to play a tiebreaker versus them, and then you have to play them again in playoff, regardless of win or lose. Do you feel really confident versus them?
I think this week our practice has been like 10 times better than previously, and we end the season matching up against Optic and FlyQuest. And I think it's a really good test to how good we actually are going into the playoffs. And we're not playing against the bottom teams that have nothing to play for, and we're not playing against like the very top teams. So I feel like it's a pretty good test to where we're going to be standing and like what our chances are going into the playoffs, and it will definitely prepare us. So I'm really happy that we actually get to play them. And also, I think FlyQuest is actually they're a pretty solid team. I don't really know if any one of them is really standing out. They're just trying to kind of play together and do team stuff. So it's really nice playing against them.
Stylistically, how do you feel versus them?
It's hard to say because I don't really think we have found our like best style yet. We are still improving. So it's I don't know. I think we're pretty even going into it, but in the game we just played with the picks we got and they got and stuff, I feel like we're a better team right now, but I guess we'll see.
So speaking of picks, you actually let them have Lissandra. Now, when I spoke to a lot of the coaches and the players, they talked about how much Lissandra's value went up, and especially with so many strong AD junglers in the meta, if you play kind of the counter matchups to Lissandra, like traditionally something like a Cassio or even like a Syndra, you can get bursted down really easily. Why were you guys so okay with them getting Lissandra?
I think it just depends on what else is open to and how we like kind of want to try playing the game. It really just depends. Maybe we'll change it up, maybe we won't. There's a lot of different things you can do in the patch depending on what you're comfortable with. And I do think we gave them a really strong comp, and it definitely could have went worse for us. But we also played around it, and I think it's really good practice for us. I think we are probably we have like the best edge of playing against Lissandra because we have so many picks into it that other teams don't really want to go for. So if people want to like go for early Lissandra picks and stuff like that, it's really easy for us to see it coming, and we can just decide whether we want to play against it or not. Like they banned whatever we have played against Lissandra previously, so it was pretty obvious for us, and we just we just talked about what we wanted to like match up against and what's fine, what's not fine, and that's pretty much it.
So it's your first time making playoffs in a long while. You've had a lot of doubters, myself included. I'll apologize. And how does it feel to kind of get to tell everyone, like, I told you so, I'm still good, like, look at me, like, I'm in playoffs. Like, you had an actually incredible season. I think you were first in percentage damage for your team, or overall, one of the highest, I know, at least up there with Power People and other players. So, yeah, how does it feel to actually have an amazing season, tell all the doubters, you're wrong, I'm still really good?
I think it's not really over yet because we only made it to quarterfinals. So if we lose there, it's like kind of we're just middle of the pack kind of team if we lose there, and that's definitely not something I want to be. So I'm not at all satisfied where we're at, but I'm really happy that we picked it up and we made it into playoffs after starting 0-4 against teams that we really should win against. That I'm really happy about. I think for all stats and everything, you really have to look at what champions are being picked. Like if you're just going to pick, I don't know, Seraph every game, like pokey champions, like you're going to have high DPM, you're going to have high damage share. It's like if your team goes late game and there's a bunch of team fights, you're going to have high damage share again. Like stats is not really everything, and I really wish that you could see like damage dealt in lane, damage dealt in like 10 to 30 minutes and 30 minutes after, because it's going to give you a much better idea about how a player is, how a player likes to play. Like, what if there's a player in LCS right now with like, okay, he deals like 200 damage in laning phase, like in the first 10 minutes. Like, what the hell is going on, you know? Like, it would be much easier to see like where weaknesses is, rather than just, okay, this guy is dealing damage. Like, you can see that with AD carries. Whoever picks Ezreal the most has the highest DPM for sure.
Definitely poking champions skew it, especially champions like Ezreal and Xerath, because you're poking so much and the damage isn't as relevant as like if you're doing damage with a team fighter. All the team fight damage is so relevant.
Yeah, like late game team fights compared to early game. Like in the game we just played against FlyQuest, we have a Cho'Gath running around with 10k plus health when he pops Stoneplate. They're gonna get really high DPM playing against a champion like this, you know? It's like, does that DPM matter at all? Probably not. Like, that DPM might be way worse than like, I don't know, hitting, like, if you're up against 5 squishy champions, you know, you can only deal like 1k or 1.5k damage or something and they die.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Hitting the Cho'Gath, pretty meaningless. All right, let's round out the interview. Where do you feel yourself as a player is on, like, top of the mid lane, I guess, tier list, and where do you think your team is at? Do you think you guys can break through TSM, C9, TL? Those are the really 3, like, upper echelon, old school, great teams. So let's start with mid lane. Where do you feel like you're at?
I feel like I'm pretty good. I mean, I don't really think anyone is doubting my own opinion of myself anymore, but I do think the whole thing with matching up against TL, C9 and TSM, we've had like some games against TL and C9 that was okay, and we have had problems like closing out and like doing team stuff, but we have looked solid in laning phase, and then our last week against TSM looked really, really bad. So I do think it's something that we have to pick up on. It's something that we definitely need to improve. And then we'll see where we stand, because we do have a lot of things to fix where it looks like, especially C9 and TSM looks pretty strong. TL has been in a bit of a slump right now. So it's pretty hard to judge, and we have a match against FlyQuest first, but I think if we do end up winning, it's a really good preparation going into the semifinals.
Final words for Froggen fans, Golden Guardian fans?
Yeah, thank you guys for supporting us, and see you guys in playoffs.
All right, if you guys enjoyed the interview, don't forget to sub. Thank you so much to Low-Key Community for making this interview happen. If you guys want to support them, the link is going to be down in the bio.